There we go. Now there should be a link.
Okay.
It just says live chat, but oh, there we go. There we go. Copy link. Now there should be a link.
Okay.
For those that are watching right now, thank you for watching. Okay. I'm just going on sharing this link really quick. And
all right.
Let's see. How's your week going?
Good. Yourself?
Well, it's been busy. I guess you could say that's a good thing.
Yeah, staying out of trouble that way, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let me make sure. Okay, can you still hear me, Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because I was getting a double audio. It's because I have YouTube running along with
right
yours. But now that I got that zoomed out, I can hear you, so we should be good.
Okay. All right. Good.
So, all right. Well, hello everybody. I know we have a few views watching. So, and it's been one heck of a year, and you know, we all been sitting here trying to figure out what to do, you know, for this year. I mean,
right.
The plans I had this year pretty much shot. So I don't know if I'm going to be traveling anywhere this year. So
yeah,
I think this year it's going to be stay home, local parks only this year. I don't know yet. I just I know Florida's reopening, so
yeah.
I just saw that Ohio, Cedar Point, Kings Island have gotten the go ahead because they threatened to sue.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that was a bit of a
So
mess.
it looks like June 19th they're scheduling to reopen. So yeah, it's all looking good. So just let you know, Andrew Thrill Seeks is watching. Hello. He says hello to you and I both. And,
Hi, Thrill Seeks.
Thrill Seeks is asking, is that Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorcycle Adventure? Oh, yes. That's Hagrid's that you have behind you.
Yes, that most certainly is. That most certainly is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, parks are reopening. I know Dollywood says they're reopening. So, you know.
Yeah. A lot of parks are reopening. I do wonder about Cedar Point, since they so often rely on international, you know, and college students and exchange students to staff their parks in the summer. They can't do the international thing, and people aren't traveling right now. So I wonder if they're going to have sufficient staffing. I could see them not operating all their rides to save money as well. You know, less electricity, less staffing required. You know, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, like yesterday, California just released stage 3. So I guess gyms, bars, sporting events will start to reopen next Friday. But there was no word on movie theaters, theme parks yet, just on those two or the malls. So
yeah, movie theaters were just given the go ahead to open, and bars as of yesterday here in Florida. So again, we're a little further along than everyone else.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Just a 16-bit coaster joined us. Hello. He says hello to you and I both, Andrew.
Hello. Yeah.
He's from Georgia. Thrill Seeks
Okay.
Thrill Seeks is from the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
And yes, and Thrill Seeks is he wants to try that coaster. It looks amazing. And then I guess if you want to tell Thrill Seeks how your experience was on Hagrid's really quick.
Yeah. So first of all, Thrill Seeks, a little quick plug. If you go to our channel on YouTube, which I guess you're already looking at YouTube, but after this is over, take a look at our videos. Look at sort by date and look back to about 10 months ago, 10, 11 months ago. You'll see our POV and my review of Hagrid's. I wrote it opening weekend, and I've ridden it many times since then. It is the best coaster in Orlando. It is one of the best themed coasters in the world. It's up there with Tron, for example, which I've also ridden at Shanghai. Amazing coaster. But Hagrid's is in certain ways next level. The length of the ride, the number of launches, the backwards launch, the drop track, the theming, the design of the trains themselves, the level of detail, the lights and the headlights and the sound effects. It's just all top notch. It's a super fun ride. My friends and I that I was at Universal with this past week, we rode it several times, and we talked about how if Hagrid's had none of the theming, none of the audio, just imagine it at a Six Flags park, with no theming. Unlike other rides like this, where, for example, if you took a Rock and Roller Coaster, which I think exists, I think at Walibi, Belgium, without theming, it would be kind of eh. But Hagrid's, if it didn't have any theming at all, it would still be an amazing coaster. It would be kind of like almost like a junior version of Maverick without the inversions and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a stellar ride. It's definitely worth coming to Universal Orlando for.
Nice. Right. You were recently at Universal since it's reopening.
Yes, I was.
How was Hagrid's during post COVID-19?
Yeah, so Hagrid's is running great. It did occasionally have a little downtime the 2 days that I was there. It was largely due to rain. When we had rain, I only saw one time where it was down when the weather was fine, and it came back up pretty quick. But it usually was running fine. We rode it between the 2 days we were there, I think 4 times across 2 days. And again, it was really smooth. They're running a lot of trains. I don't know how many. It's hard to keep track. But they were running many trains. They were social distancing. Thankfully, the way the trains are designed, each motorcycle and sidecar, each row, if you will, there's a decent amount of separation between it and the next row. So it makes it easier for them to do social distancing. The way that Hagrid's and pretty much all the other rides were working is if you were in a group, for example, the group I was in, we had 7 people there on Wednesday, 6 on Thursday. So they would seat us all together, on the 4 across coasters, they'd have 4 and then 3, or 4 and then 2. 2 across coasters like Hagrid's, they would have us 4 rows in a row basically, because we're all together. They're not going to separate us and social distance us. So
pretty much a preview of what I'll probably see here in California with Magic Mountain, Disneyland. Disneyland is going to be very interesting, how to keep social distance, the way how jam-packed that park gets on a daily basis. I just seeing Disneyland go 50% capacity is going to be very interesting. And I mean, in a way, it'll be great for us enthusiasts or Disney fanatics, because the park won't be shoulder to shoulder with people in many areas. Like when you walk to Adventureland through Indiana Jones to get to Pirates and to New Orleans Square, you're shoulder to shoulder. Now, they've done improvements in the past that have made it much wider walkways and stuff, but it's still, on a very busy day, that area still gets jam-packed with people. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the parks rely, I mean, just like I saw Magic Mountain on Fright Fest, that park will be at max capacity. I mean, there was a day I was there, the parking lot was shut down because they had no more parking at Magic Mountain. So I've seen the parks get max packed,
Right.
and they can't do that anymore. So this is going to
Nope.
be a new normal to that. They cannot rely on money by jam packing the park and hoping people spend it on food, merchandise, and fast lane passes and all that stuff. So there's going to be a major change in the atmosphere and the environment, what we all used to experience at the parks, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. So here's one thing I want to, mention that from my experience the past couple of days, something to keep in mind. So again, I was at all three parks, Universal. I was at Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay. And the first two I was at both days. Volcano Bay, I was just at the second day. And Universal, I know you've only been there once, David, but Universal Orlando, the three parks there, they have pretty wide walkways in most areas. Wizarding World, as an exception, especially Hogsmeade, is a little bit narrower, but still not as narrow as some of the choke points at Disneyland, which I'm very familiar with. Even with that said, and even with the park limiting capacity, I believe they're limited to 25%, maybe 50% right now here in Florida. But again, with limited capacity, they have social distancing set up in all the queues. It works very well. People follow the rules. There's markers on the ground and on the banisters in some areas in the snaking queues. And people follow those rules, and then there's cast members to help as well. But the one area, or I should say team members, excuse me. The one area though where they can't do anything about it is in public areas, in the walkways. They really weren't policing things much, and there were areas, especially in Hogsmeade, where it wasn't super crowded. It's not like it usually is, but people were not social distancing at all times. People were kind of brushing by each other, sneaking through, and getting past parties, and people are wearing masks except if they're eating or drinking, and then they don't have to wear masks. So definitely, there's some non-idealities, some potential issues there. Not a major issue or problem, but just a potential. And there's no real way to police it. Unless they have tons and tons of team members, or for Disney cast members, policing everyone and ordering people where to go. Now, Disney does do a better job of that. I've been at Disneyland, for example, and it's very busy, which is, at least when I used to live in California, all the time, not even just holidays, and there'd be cast members telling people, oh, you must go this way, you can't go that way, like in Tomorrowland, or like it's Adventureland, between that and New Orleans Square. But there's only so much they can do. I think what may wind up happening is they may have to start kind of controlling access land by land, especially at a place like Disneyland, where there are cast members allowing people in only after certain people have exited, and they have to line up with social distancing, and it's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be difficult for Disneyland to operate anything above 25% with effective social distancing in the general areas. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So let's see. Thrillseek says, yeah, I've never been to America. He also said we are only going to our local theme park, Drayton Manor, this year until winter, when we go to our first European theme park. That's one thing. I'm glad to see that theme parks around the world are reopening despite the COVID situation in many areas, especially in Europe. China, I guess Shanghai Disney was the first park to reopen in the world, and they seem to have a good social distancing plan in place for the park. And Six Flags released a video showing what they're planning on doing for social distancing and safety in the park, and I have to say it was a pretty good video. I like some of the technology that they're going to be using at the gates when you walk through, bagless metal detector checks, thermal readings where they don't have to take your temperature, it takes it for you when you walk through the barrier, and everything is all done by the app. But like I think you said, you experienced some glitches on Universal's app a few times. I wonder how Six Flags Magic Mountain's app is going to work, because there's areas in the park where the cell phone signal is extremely low, and you're not going to be able to get on your phone in the back of the park. you would have to
Right.
literally walk to the front, and it's not an easy walk to the front. You're literally going over a mountain to get to the front of the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah. And Wi-Fi access, so it doesn't always work either, especially at theme parks. It was spotty at Universal when I was there this week. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The apps and there are a lot now. All these parks are going to be having new features in these apps for virtual queuing and mobile ordering and things like that. And it's going to be buggy. And then of course also there's going to be a lot of issues like you were saying where everyone's trying to access the app at once and it just can't handle the traffic and the cell signals can't handle it. I got to say, 5G is going to really be helpful with a lot of this stuff as it's deployed over the next few years. And, with everything going on in theme parks and contact tracing as well around the world to try to keep the virus under control, that requires smartphones to be connected to the internet. So 5G is going to be important for getting that rolled out to get people better access.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I guess I can't really say much. You got to experience what it's like a day at the store post COVID-19. I haven't
Yep.
yet. I don't know when California parks are going to open. I think we're, like everyone says, we're going to be the last ones to reopen in this state,
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Newsom is moving forward despite, there could be a spike in the cases and all this stuff, but he's still moving forward. And but still, theme parks we're not on the latest list of what can open. So
Right.
it's frustrating. I'll tell you that. So
yeah, to say the least.
So I saw another comment, but YouTube is not letting me get to the. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. His membership has been extended. This is from 16-Bit Coaster. He goes,
Yeah.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, next year's membership has been extended to 2021. Maybe Lake Winnie, Cannonball as 200. I'm going backwards on Ghost.
Okay.
But, let's see. He originally said, I had plans to do Busch Gardens, Williamsburg for the first time and make oh my God, the new coaster name. I have a hard time.
Pantheon.
My 200 coaster. Oh, congrats. If you get that as your 200. West Coast Racers was my 200 this year, which was really nice. But those fell through. They look to open later than most parks. Thinking of Six Flags Over Georgia or Carowinds this summer. Maybe Lake Winnie, Cannonball as 200. If you could keep your 16-Bit Coaster, if you could keep Pantheon as your 200 coaster, I would do that. That would be a great memory to have. Busch Gardens will reopen, so hopefully you can arrange your plans. He's asked for thoughts on Six Flags Over Georgia or Carowinds. I'll let you talk, Andrew.
So this is a 16-Bit Coaster has never been to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, you said?
No, it was going to be his first time at Busch Gardens.
Okay. So I would just like to talk about that first. I've been to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg a couple of times. It is one of my most favorite parks in the world. It is one of those rare parks that really does everything well, from the rides, the great collection of coasters and some good, dark rides, flat rides, etc. Well, actually, they don't really have a dark ride anymore. They used to, but they have a VR ride, dark ride. But anyway, they have great coasters, some good flats, amazing food, amazing theming. Just a great experience, great high quality experience. One of the most beautiful parks I've ever been to, and I've been to Efteling, which is also beautiful. But Williamsburg is right there with it, as far as I'm concerned. And that park just keeps getting better and better. As far as I'm concerned, Busch Gardens Williamsburg is the best park in the SeaWorld Busch chain. And I have, SeaWorld Orlando and Busch Gardens Tampa right in my backyard here, so to speak, here in Florida. And those are, nothing to shake a stick at either, but Williamsburg is just a whole nother level. So definitely make that a priority to get there. I got an email from them yesterday, but quite frankly, I didn't pay attention to it because I don't have any plans to go there anytime soon. I'm pretty sure they are reopening soon, is what that email is addressing, because SeaWorld and Busch have been sending out emails to me every day, every single one of their parks, advising that they're reopening, like, next week, and pretty soon here in general. I know all the parks here in Florida for SeaWorld and Busch, they're opening. I think it's June 11th, the end of this week, this coming Thursday. So I'm pretty sure Busch Williamsburg is going to be opening soon too. So check their website. Now that doesn't mean Pantheon's going to open then. It's probably not going to open until later. But if you have an opportunity to go there, you said you live in Georgia, I would go there. Yeah, if your 200th is in Pantheon, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there's some other amazing coasters. Make Loch Ness Monster your 200th coaster. That is an amazing legacy arrow coaster. It's on the ACE Historic landmark list. That would be a great one to make your 200th, and it opens early usually, a half hour early before the park opens officially, so you can get on it right away. And it's one of the smoothest riding arrows out there, even though it was built in the 70s, late 70s. So, but just get over there. So anyway.
Yeah, I got to experience Busch Gardens Williamsburg for the first time last year when I was doing my East Coast tour, and that's where you joined me for a little bit over at Carowinds for a day, which was about time you and I had the first time being at a park together in such a while. I think my biggest mistake in that tour, but my tour got adjusted because I know your schedule got adjusted. So I had to adjust to where I was at Carowinds a little longer so I could be with you for a day. But I ended up having to cut. I was planning on being like 2 days at Busch Gardens and then 2 days or 3 days at Kings Dominion and 1 day at Six Flags America. For some reason, I had to cut Busch Gardens down. I think it's because the time I went, the park was only open so many days a week, where Kings Dominion was closed, but Busch Gardens was open. So I could only go for one whole day. And it was only because I went during the week, and Busch Gardens was only open till 6. But I will tell you, I lucked out because Busch Gardens that day, it was only me and like 12 people in the park. I had the whole park to myself, and everything was open. So I literally got to ride. I didn't have to wait in line. I had a fast pass and everything, and it just wasn't worth it because that day, because I didn't need it. And I went on every coaster like several times, but also like it gave me plenty of time to film the park. And I really enjoyed making those videos of Busch Gardens. So I really enjoyed making each and every one of them. But I really enjoyed that park. That was the most beautiful park I've ever seen. The food is fantastic, and all the rides, even their dive coaster, Griffin. That's one of my favorite coasters in the park, along with Alpengeist and Apollo's Chariot. Heck, I even liked the Skyrocket 2 coaster. It's like Electric Eel over in San Diego, and I just really enjoyed it. But no, I think my biggest regret is I wish I could have spent another day at Busch Gardens. But I wish I had people,
David.
Well, I wish I had people with me too, because I went by myself. It would have been a great memory to have some of my friends with me that day when I went on them for the first time. So
remember when you were planning that trip, I told you several times, David, skip Six Flags America and do a second day at Williamsburg. 1 day is not enough.
Well, I had to go visit Six Flags America. I needed the content for my channel. So, and also I don't know if when I was ever going to be back in that area of Maryland, because I went to Maryland once and I really enjoyed, people were nice at the park, but honestly, Six Flags America was just a one-time, one and done visit. I don't see me needing to go back over there. Maybe if they get another used coaster that I haven't ridden, maybe I might go back. But I honestly wish I could have spent more time at Busch Gardens, but I plan to go back there again. So
for sure.
So let me see. We got some more comments. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got, let's see. W1 of the Blues Bros says, hello, fellas. Hello, how are you? Thrill Seeker says West Coast Racers is another coaster. Would love to try as well. I'll definitely get to that in a little bit. Let's see. 16-bit coaster, Busch Gardens, first time already been to Six Flags Over Jordan and Carowinds. Those are my local backups. I actually enjoyed both Six Flags Over Georgia and Carowinds.
Yeah, they're good parks. They're decent.
You know,
I have something to show you. Speaking of Carowinds, keep talking. I'm going to bring something back.
Okay. Thrill Seekers, excuse me, Carowinds. That's the park that has Fury 325, right? That's correct. W1 of the Blues Bros. Any updates on Iron Gwazi opening, Andrew?
No updates. Give me just a sec. I just want to show you something that came in the mail yesterday.
Thrill Seeks, I agree. It was nice walking the park by myself at Busch Gardens, but it wasn't. It's not the same when if you have friends or family with you. When you have friends and family with you, you can be able to create some great memories and witness experiences from everybody. But yeah, that was my one regret at Busch Gardens was I ended up having to go alone to that one.
So David, do you see? Yeah, there you go.
That's the Fury. Your Fury mask.
Yep, just came in yesterday in the mail. I ordered it from Redbubble.
So,
the virtual back. There we go.
I like that. Too bad it doesn't have the logo on it, though.
I think that is probably for copyright reasons. It's not official from Cedar Fair. It's just Redbubble, like Etsy. So they probably did that purposely.
I was going to ask you when you went to Universal, have you walked inside the shops? Have you seen if Universal was selling any face coverings that had some of the coaster or attractions or some of the characters?
Not attractions. They have a UOAP one, which is a really pretty blue one with the UOAP, Universal Orlando annual pass holders logo they have in white lettering. And then they also have, because it's Pride Month, so they have the Love is Universal merchandise they always have. And one new offering they have this year is they have like a rainbow mask. They didn't have any masks for specific attractions or, based on certain IPs, because Universal is all about IP, of course. But I'm guessing they're coming. They just haven't come in yet. They probably have them on order. So I'm sure we'll be seeing them the next couple of months. By the way, I was there Wednesday and Thursday for the pass holder preview event, but Universal opened for the first time to the public yesterday. And they're pretty much one of the few major parks that is not using a reservation system. And myself and all my friends that live locally were all like, oh boy, this is gonna be a problem. They're gonna, have max capacity 8 a.m. and all this stuff. Well, guess what? They never hit capacity. It was a dead day yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, now it could be, I think kids are out of school now here in Florida. Well, of course, they're out of school. Schools are closed, but they're doing school from home. But it's basically summer here now. It's the first week of June. So, what I think this is pointing to, and this is very different than the market you live in, David, where we have Disneyland, which has I think 60% of the visitors are locals, pass holders and whatnot. Florida is very different. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's much lower. It's a minority percentage that at the parks at any given time, I think it's something like 20-30% of the people there are locals from Florida. Most of them are international travelers or people from around the US. And those people aren't here right now. International, you can't be here right now. It's impossible to get in the country. And even domestic travel is very minimized right now. There's not many flights. People aren't traveling. People are afraid to fly, don't have the money. That people are out of work, all this stuff, bad news. So there's not many people to go into these parks right now. So,
This might be a good time. Might be a good time to go to Florida if you're local.
I've been telling you that, David. You should be flying here. So going back
to your
question about,
I don't know about flying. I mean, they've been canceling a lot of flight routes and everything, and I don't know what the prices are, but if push comes to shove, I'll rent a car and I'll do a cross-country journey and stop at other parks along the way to Florida.
Yeah.
But I would have to have somebody with me on that travel because it would take, I don't know, how long did it take you when you drove cross-country to Florida?
I've done it a few times. It takes about 5-6 days. if you stop overnight. So I just had my mother-in-law and one of our aunts fly out here from San Diego. They both were on the same flight, and they had a pretty good experience. They were here last weekend. They would do it again. There's no food service, no beverage service for the most part, and but the flights went fine, and they weren't scared. But anyway, speaking of Florida, going back to the question about Iron Gwazi, we were, again, my friends and I were talking about that yesterday. Pretty much all of us that were there in the group that we were in are locals, or at least live here in Florida. So Gwazi obviously is a big topic right now. So Busch Gardens is reopening this Thursday here in Tampa. The rumors are that the coaster still has a few more weeks of work. Yes, it has been tested, but apparently they need to add some reinforcements, supports and whatnot to the coaster, maybe because there's been too much rocking or vibration or whatever the reason is after testing that they would need to add those, or maybe it's a state regulation thing or whatever it may be, is that they have to do some more work on it. So it's looking like Gwazi will not open for at least a few weeks. At least it won't be ready for a few weeks. Doesn't mean they're going to open it right away. They may not open it till next year, the rumors are saying. David, of course, I'm very curious is if they're going to have a media event for it. Because Busch Gardens and SeaWorld have treated Coaster Challenge very well, both here on the East Coast as well as on the West Coast. You and I have both experienced that. We very much appreciate that and like giving the park coverage. And you and I are big supporters of SeaWorld. I stand with SeaWorld as the hashtag goes, as well as Busch. They're some of the greatest parks that we have in this country. And I'm hoping they will do a media day so we can help cover that coaster. But if they don't, once it's open, once Gwazi is open, I will be getting down there soon thereafter to get on that first RMC that we have here in Florida. So
I sit and I wonder if all the parks that have new coasters this year. I remember that there was a shareholder meeting with SeaWorld Entertainment, and I think a lot of parks are having this question. Are they going to open up their new attractions this year, or are they going to delay it to next year? Because we're right in the middle of season as parks are reopening. I mean, parks should have been open back in April, May. We're now beginning of June. So that gives the parks only 3 months of a season left to be open for around the country, unless California reopens and they can be open every day. But it's, so I sit and I wonder, I was supposed to be part of the Orion over at Kings Island's First Riders event and Ace event as well. And I have not, and now that I've heard that they're planning to reopen on the 19th of June, I've not received any email from Kings Island about if they're still going to reinstate the First Rider event. I have no idea what's going on with Orion. So there's just been no communication on that. So and everyone asked me, they go, are you going to go if they bring back the First Rider event? And I said, well, yeah, I came in third place out of 840 people. I came in third place on raising the most money for that event. So, that's a big deal. I mean, I want to be there because it was for a great cause. There's going to be a lot of kids that are part of the A Kid Again Foundation going to be there. And I want to be there to greet those kids. And, so it's like, if they reopen it, and I plan to go back. So
right.
I lost your video image.
Oh, sorry. Give me just a second here. I'm checking for something here. Okay, sorry. I'm going back. Okay.
We got some more questions really quick. Let me
sure.
They were just coming on through. I'd like to welcome Eva from Wildcat Coasters. She's also our Midwest correspondent as well. Let's see. I'm going back. Let's see. And just let you guys know that there is a small delay. So I'm actually going on YouTube to read questions really quick. So if they get a little late, my apologies. YouTube is just being a little late on all this fun stuff. So, let's see. 16-bit coaster said that's a cool Fury mask. Wildcat Coaster says, hello, Eva. If you're still watching, I hope you're still watching us. She loved the social distancing at Mount Olympus. Thrill Seeks, that's epic. I would love a similar face mask. He also, Thrill Seeks says, Smiler is a 14-inversion Infinity Coaster by Gooselauer at Alton Towers. 16-bit coaster, I'm so stoked about the Jurassic Intamin wave turns and fast Heartline rollover. The water looks so good.
So that's what's behind me. This is a picture I took on Wednesday when I was at Islands of Adventure. This is right in front of, it's basically by the bridge that connects Jurassic Park, connects Hogsmeade, you know, on the, you know, to the rest of the park, you know, by Seuss Landing and all that. These are a couple of wave turns right there. You can see pretty steep as part of the ride. I've got some other pictures I could show too. Actually, David, I was going to ask you, and by the way, on the 16-bit coasters, this coaster is looking amazing. I saw a lot of the track and supports when I was there, and it's looking awesome. David, I was looking to, and this is why my video dropped out, a way for me to share photos, you know, while we're chatting here in the Zoom app, and it says only the host can share content. So I don't know if you can change a setting to allow me to, and then I can pop into my photos and go through some of this stuff.
Let me see here. More. Let's see. I'm looking at my options to see what I can
the settings.
do.
Yeah.
I would have to literally go over here to home and check out settings. Let's see, share screen. Share screen, let's see. Taking a quick look, but
yeah, there should be a way to do it, but
I wonder if there's a way I can make you as well administrator where you have the same tools as me.
Yeah, that would work.
But it may not work.
Since
It may not work this time.
Yeah.
It may not work this time. What I'll have to do is sit down and figure it out. So
okay.
But I think in our next Zoom visit, I hope to have those settings adjusted where you can be able to share it.
Something to keep in mind for the future. So I'll try to show some other photos here, at least as my virtual background, so you can show them that way. But yeah, a Jurassic coaster, Velocicoaster, whatever they're going to call it, is looking really solid. Unfortunately, the zero G roll element was not installed when we were there Wednesday, Thursday. I guess it got installed overnight between Thursday and Friday. Here's a good overview picture. There's in front of the Discovery Center. You can see all the supports. You can see the, actually, let me add another picture here. I think I have one more to the left. You can see the top hat elements and the stall area. But yeah, it's looking like a really nice long coaster. Yeah, here we go. I think this will come up. So you can see to my right on the left side there, you can see the part of the beginnings of the top hat. They're not all the way up yet. They're still working on it. It's definitely going to be taller than Hulk by maybe 20 to 50 feet, but it's looking like a pretty long ride. 2 launches. You can almost think of it as Maverick's spiritual successor, if you will.
Is it still scheduled to open as on schedule, or did they get delayed like Disney did?
Well, here's the thing. David, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, but that black track you see behind us, that is Universal's latest landscaping improvements to Islands of Adventure, because, and I'm not kidding, Universal's claiming everything they're doing at Islands of Adventure right now is a landscaping project. And, you know, it's hilarious, but that's how Universal does things. They're opposite of Disney. Disney announces a D23 or, you know, Destination D or press release or whatnot. Oh yeah, we're going to be bringing Tron to Disney World, to Magic Kingdom in 2021, you know, 3 years ago. You know, they announce things years in advance. They don't hide things. Universal, they announce an opening a few months before it opens, or sometimes a month or 2 before it opens. So this coaster behind me, which is going to be probably a world record breaker, it'll be on many people's top 10 lists, including probably mine, knowing how much I loved intimate coasters, especially Blitz coasters, which is what this is going to be classified as. You know, Universal is not going to announce it until it's right before it opens. So we don't know if it's going to open next year. Now, what I would say is that Disney, they ceased their construction projects pretty much while during the coronavirus, while they were closed. They're still closed now. Universal did not. They kept fully forging ahead with this project. So my guess is it will open next spring. And furthermore, my guess is that Universal is trying to double down to some degree on their existing 3 parks, because Epic Universe is not going to be ready for maybe a year or 2 after when they were thinking it was going to be ready. It's been delayed a little bit. Now, rumors were pointing to, by the way, that Epic Universe had stopped construction. That is not correct. They are still working on it. They're still moving dirt and doing some infrastructural work, but they're not building up yet. They're not going vertical with it yet. When they will do that, who knows? Universal's claim that they're not going to really work on Epic Universe until the economy gets better, tourism gets better here in Florida, but I don't necessarily believe that, because they are still doing some work on it. But nonetheless, it looks like Universal is going to focus a little bit more on the existing parks, because that they can get done more quickly, and they can realize revenue improvements, visitor increases, etc., by opening rides like the one behind me. Because you can bet Jurassic Coaster is going to be a huge draw. Sorry, my dog is barking. I got someone at my door. David, why don't you go ahead and talk? I'm gonna go check my door.
Yeah, I'm going to answer, check out some questions really quick, guys. Let's see. With one of the Blues Bros, they need to lower the prices at Disney with everything they are taking away to draw guests. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I've been arguing with my family about this. I have a Disney Signature Plus pass, and it includes the fast pass with the annual pass.
Max
and
pass,
Disney is going to be suspending that fast pass, and I feel they owe me some money back, because if they're not going to allow me to be able to use a fast pass when they reopen, then I feel that they should refund me or give me some perks for that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you just jumped in right in the middle of that, but with one of the Blues Bros has said they need to lower the prices at Disney with everything that's going. They are taking away to draw guests,
So I have kind of something similar to share. So I have a Disney World pass. I have a Florida pass for Florida only pass for Disney, as well as Universal here in Orlando. My Florida pass for Disney is the silver pass, so it's got blockouts in the summer, and but it gets me into all the 4 main parks and gets me free parking. I'm very curious with that, because I'm supposed to be blocked out like all of July, and I think up until the middle of August. If when they reopen in the middle of July, if I'm going to be blocked out or not. If I am, I'm not upgrading my pass. I will wait until August to go back to the park. I'm not going to bother with that. So I'm just curious to see how that works out, because they also said they're going to have pass holder only events leading up to the grand reopening on I think it's July 11th, 13th, somewhere in there. But anyways, on the Universal side, I have I'm kind of Universal passes, and I've mentioned this to you, David, before, at least for Florida residents, are so much less expensive than Disney. I have the Premier Pass, which is the equivalent of the Platinum Plus. It's the highest level. I have it for all 3 parks at Universal, and my total cost for it every year is about $650. And they even give you 3 months free. Like right now, my renewal is happening right now, and I'm going to get 3 months free. I'm going to get 15 months for $650. But here's the thing, David. The next level down is like $125 or so less. And the difference between the preferred level, the next level down, and Premier, where I'm at now, is Premier gives me valet parking, which is not available right now. They're not offering valet parking for the foreseeable future. It gives me Express after 4 p.m., except they have no Express right now at all. And it gives me a Halloween Horror Nights ticket, which who knows if Halloween Horror Nights is going to happen this year, or if it's going to be a reduced event. So I think, I'm actually have a note. I'm going to call Universal and say, hey, knock me down to preferred. I might as well save some money, because you're not even giving me these benefits right now. Why should I pay for it?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, even if Halloween Horror Nights does go on this year, which I hope it does, I get a frequent fear pass anyway, so I don't need that free 1-day ticket. So you don't use it. So,
I also feel like annual passes are going to be no good anymore in parks during this social distancing situation.
No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that entirely.
Hear me out on this one, because you got different levels of annual passes, and they all have different blackouts, different perks, different discounts, and all that stuff. So some of the add-ons and stuff that they have, they're taking it away. And it's like, it's like I have a top premium pass, and yet I'm still being treated at the bottom tier pass holder pass. And also, like, when you have an annual pass, you're paying for up to 365 days a year to be able to go to the park. And then if you have a reservation system, if I was to go on right now onto a park reservation system and say, I want to go to the park tomorrow, I may not be able to. I may not be able to go for another 4 or 5 days or a week ahead, because so many people are going to be trying to. And then I worry about the crazy people that want to go every day. I know quite a few people out there that want to go to Disney.
Oh, I know some people like that. I know some people that normally do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they find ways to get in there by having friends be able to get a reservation with them and stuff to make it where they're in the park every day. So I can see that people are already going to be cooking up a good scheme to try to get into the parks every day and work around the reservation system.
By the way, I want to mention real quick, one of the Blues Brothers, that's actually Nicholas Guerrero. So we know Nicholas. Hi, Nicholas.
Hello, Nicholas.
He just texted me. So I agree with you that the premium level passes, they're not going to be worth it in the foreseeable future. I'm really glad I went down from Platinum Plus to Silver this year when Dusty and I renewed in January for Disney World, because it's not worth having the upper level passes right now, especially, like I said, Universal. I'm going to drop down. Platinum, we're Platinum at SeaWorld with that. That makes sense, because that gets us into Busch Gardens and the other parks, having that Platinum level, like Cedar Fair. I think maybe annual passes in the medium term, maybe starting next year, are going to look different. Maybe they will be where at different pass levels, you can use a certain number of times per year. Like maybe, equivalent of a Silver gets you into the park 10 times a year. Gold, 20, Platinum, 30, Platinum Plus, I'm using the Disney nomenclature here on the East Coast, 50 times, or, maybe the top level, it is unlimited or something, or maybe it isn't. Maybe that's how they're going to, restrict things with the reservations. But it is a problem. And I can tell you right now, David, it's going to be a huge problem for Disneyland, because, there are thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of entitled, and I mean that in a derogatory sense, Disneyland pass holders. I see some of the worst behavior out of those pass holders, where they, like you said, these people that go every day and they sneak in and they try to take advantage of things, and they get all upset when one thing isn't offered to them, and or if the parks are too busy. The pass holder ridiculousness at Disneyland is just nuts. Yeah. And all those people that are pass holders right now, once that park reopens, I think it's going to be kind of ugly. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of complaining in the very least.
Yeah. Let me check out some of the comments. We got quite a bit of comments. So Let's see. Pardon me, guys. There's a little delay. Let's see. Yeah, we saw that part. Okay. Yes, West Coast Racers. That was a real honor that I got to experience this year before the pandemic. I got to be part of its media day and membership preview. So Magic Mountain really takes good care of Coastal Challenge. They've been great to me and Andrew, and they literally had their media friends there for the member preview, and I got to be the first one to ride that ride before the membership people did. And I got to be at the reveal, got to meet Ryan from West Coast Customs and his staff, and so I'm really thankful for that. And they invite me to everything, to the preview of Fright Fest, preview of Holiday in the Park. They invite me to everything, and I get all to test out their free food and their holiday foods and everything. And I just, there's people that criticize me for being fans of Magic Mountain. You know what? The staff has been wonderful all the way around, from regular employees to management. I'm good friends with the president.
With Neil, yeah.
And they make me feel very welcome in my own home park. So I'm always going to have Six Flags Magic Mountains back, no matter what the situation is on that.
I agree. And SeaWorld treats me similarly. SeaWorld Orlando is one of my 2 home parks. It's almost as close to my home as Universal Orlando is. They're, Universal Orlando's 5 minutes closer, but SeaWorld, invite me to all their events. I go to as many as possible. Like you were saying, they let me sample the foods for the festivals, like the holiday and the festival, Christmas celebration, and so forth. And by the way, David, I just got to say, I love it that here in Florida they actually still use the term Christmas, not holiday. It's like,
that's
going
nice.
back to when I was a kid in the 80s, when wasn't bad to use the word Christmas. But anyway, so yeah, they have me out for that, and for the new ride openings and ride announcements. And I was there for the Icebreaker announcement. I was there for the Icebreaker tour and got to sign the support for the ride with Coaster Challenge on there. So they take really good care of me, and I proudly support them. So
yeah, I love how you and I both got to experience a construction tour.
Yep.
You got to at SeaWorld, I got to at Six Flags. I was at 3 construction tours with West Coast Racers, and that was a lot of fun. Hard hat tour. Even with CoasterCon, if you're an ACE member, and by the way, if you're not an ACE member, I highly recommend you become an ACE member, because they do so many cool events with the parks. CoasterCon was at Magic Mountain in Knott's Berry Farm last year, and it was the most fun event I've ever experienced. So just to answer some more questions here, Thrill Seek says Carowinds, that's the park that has been, yeah, that's correct. Okay, we're a little back on that. Yes, I agree. Let's see, back to the Fear Mask. So let's see, Eva. She's talking about a Florida vacation the week of Father's Day, so you might want to reach out to her, Andrew, if she's around.
Let me know if you're going to be here. Yeah.
Eva also said from Wildcat Coasters that Candemonium hadn't planned an opening until June anyway. She also said, I haven't heard anything about Orion either. Thrill Seek's rides and attractions are holding new attractions till 2021 over in the UK.
So just to touch upon that general topic, we've kind of glanced on it a couple times here today. I personally think that a lot of these 2020 attractions are not going to be opened until next year. And the reason is simple. These parks, because of state requirements, CDC guidelines, et cetera, they are opening with 25%, maybe 50% capacity. And that's going to remain for quite a while, probably the entire season. For a lot of parks, they only are open until September, October. And if they're reduced capacity, they're not going to have to do much to get people in the parks and reach capacity that minimum capacity they have. So why bother opening a ride to bring even more people in that can't get in the park? So I only see rides getting opened if things continue, like say Universal Orlando, where let's say when Six Flags over Texas, I think they're opening soon. They have Aquaman Power Splash opening that's supposed to open this year. Well, if they open and it's like Universal was yesterday, where they're not getting a lot of people in, okay, yeah, maybe they'll open it this year to draw more people. But if they're hitting those capacity limits or getting pretty close to it, there's no sense in opening another ride until next year, when hopefully we don't have coronavirus anymore, and they can open at 75%, 100% capacity, and then they want to draw more people in. That's why Universal Orlando is well set with the Jurassic Coaster. It's not supposed to open until next year anyway, and Universal, I think, is banking on that 2021 is not going to be another 2020. Let's all hope that's the case. So.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like this year, I guess 2020 shot. So I guess I'm going to prepare for 2021. I might as well just stay home, focus on paying my bills off, get myself financially in position for next year. Because I may do a big trip next year. I might plan a road trip or something where I do a circle around the country and I'm gone for a month and I just visit parks on my way all the way around. I don't know, but it's something that I would have to have people join me on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I will look into, like, I think I might consider going to IAPA. I
Mhm.
want to go somewhere this year. I need to get out of the house. You and I have talked privately on the phone, and you know how I've been
Yep.
the whole winter season with the family, with work and everything. It's like the stress levels have, and then the pandemic just made the stress levels even higher for me, where it's like I need to get out, you know. I mean,
Right.
I've been
Right.
cooped up in my home for 2 months, trying to play the, just being a good sport, and like, okay, yes, fine, I'll stay locked down, I'll stay home. The only time I get out of the house is when I go for a walk, you know,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Well, yeah, I'm already signed up for IAPA this year. The same day they announced that it's going to move forward after they surveyed previous year's visitors, and apparently the majority said, yeah, we will attend this year if you hold IAPA in Orlando. So they're going ahead with it. Now, of course, that could change, but especially with the second wave. But as of right now, at least, IAPA is moving forward. I've already registered as a press Coaster Challenge to cover it like I did last year. It'd be great if you could join. It is so much fun. It's a lot of walking, but walking's good for you. It's like, total, eye candy, just things to see everywhere, like great food to try. You can go on rides there. You get to meet the manufacturers. I met Fred Grubb last year, super nice guy from RMC, of course. It's just a fun time. And of course, then you can hit the parks as well. So actually this year, IAPA, it starts on the 7th. Well, IAPA itself starts on the 16th. The trade show starts on the 17th of November. My birthday is on the 16th, so it's going to be my birthday week. So I'm probably going to take at least a couple of days off to go to the show. And yeah, David, if you come out here, I'll take another day or two off so we can go to some of the parks.
Yeah.
So remember, if you make flight reservations, if you go that route, you should be able to cancel them with the way things are with the airlines right now. But something to think about at least.
Well, I got tons of reward points with American Airlines, so hopefully if I do the Florida trip, then my flight should be free. And I always like to fly first class because it's easier to get in and out,
Right. And yeah, the hotels also, I mean, it could change by then, but the hotels, the rates are great right now because no one's coming. So, maybe in November it'll be different.
This time this time, if I do go, I'd like to take your advice and go stay at a Universal.
Absolutely. Because keep in mind, Universal is only a few miles away from the convention center. It's much closer than Disney's hotels are to the Orlando Convention Center. And the rates are great. They just opened up Surfside at the Endless Summer Resort. I think Dockside supposed to open in March. It still may open this year. My recommendation, though, is to book now, because you can cancel, just get the cancelable, which most hotel reservations are, because if, people start saying, yeah, I'm going to go to IAPA, they're going to start booking hotel reservations and the lower rate rooms are going to go away. Just book something you can cancel. There's no risk.
Yeah.
So,
okay. There's a few more comments. Let me scroll up.
Yep.
All right. 16-bit coaster. This is why I'm glad my Busch Gardens membership is being extended through at least June 2021. I highly doubt I'll get to ride Phenomenon this year. Wildcat coasters depends on the state. Depends on the state for capacity. Indiana parks are opening at 50% until July 4th, and then they'll go to 100%.
I don't know about that.
16-bit coaster, but I can take care of the rest of their lineup this year before summer's out. Thrill Seeks, I've heard Merlin theme parks are opening July 4th. And then Wildcat Coaster says Hollywood Nights is happening August 28th to 29th. She says, come with us, boys. So I would love to be able to experience Hollywood Nights over at Holiday World. Do that.
Yeah.
When I went to Holiday World last year for the first time in the summer, it's daylight till 11 o'clock at night, so I can't experience Voyage at night.
Yeah.
So at that time,
I've never been to Holiday World, so I really would like to go. It's not going to happen this year though, because we just moved into our new house.
It's a fun park. I mean,
I know.
It's a nice drive from Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
It took about an hour to get to the park from Louisville, and it's nothing but fields of corn, and you go up this ridge, and then you just see it's like a oh my God, a mirage out in the middle of a desert. You have nothing but cornfields, and then there's this bright orange roller coaster and a bunch of wooden coasters with trees, like in the
Thunderbird.
middle of a
Yeah.
cornfield.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
neat about Holiday World, so the parking's free. I was expecting to pay for parking, and it was free.
Right. And the
Um,
soda's free. Yeah.
yeah, all the sodas, the sunscreen. They have like Pepsi soda stands everywhere at the park, and you can just grab a cup and just fill it up as many times as you want throughout the park. The prices for merchandise and everything were pretty legit. It was pretty cheap. I was able to buy photos pretty inexpensive.
Nice.
But I went on a day when the park was maybe half capacity, but I didn't have to wait very long. I think my wait time on Thunderbird was probably 10 minutes. And then Voyage was probably a good 15 minutes, but I think 15 minutes was the max I got to wait on any ride at the park. But there's only five rides, but
Right.
it's
Well,
it's
5 coasters. Yeah.
5 coasters. But I got to walk the water park. The water park looks really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
and I like the different themes of all the different holidays. Like you got the Thanksgiving land, and they have all the restaurants and food is all based on Thanksgiving. And like the Voyage and Thunderbird are in Thanksgiving, which makes perfect sense for their names and their theming and all this stuff. It was actually kind of neat. And then you got Halloween, where you got Raven over there.
Yeah.
And then you got 4th of July land out there to celebrate American independence and be patriotic, which was really cool. But I would love to go at night one year. One year, I'd like to go and do nights at Holiday World. So you and I should plan to go one day.
Yeah, one of these days. It's not this year. Yeah. Yeah.
If you ever have to go to Cincinnati for work, then let me know. Then I'll fly down to Cincinnati, and then you and I can go on a journey trip to Louisville and go to Kentucky Kingdom, and then go to Holiday World or something.
That would be great. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's see. Thrill Seeks, I'm so jealous of you guys. I mean, the United States has got a lot of park selections. Unfortunately, for me being from California, it's hard for me because I don't live in the Midwest or the East Coast, where people who live in those regions of the country, they can drive to all the different theme parks throughout the country. The West Coast in California, we have a good number of parks, but if I want to go to any other park outside of California, I got to cross Arizona, New Mexico, or Nevada and Utah. Now, Utah would be the first closest. Lagoon would be the closest outside park to California. Otherwise, Silverwood up in Idaho would be the next closest park from California. And then you have to go through all the other states that don't really have big theme parks or little ones. So it's a journey for me to cross country to get to where all the parks are all together. So,
yeah, it's a bit of a schlep. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm very jealous of you and Austin and all you guys down in Florida. You guys got more park options and more cooler attractions down there than in California.
Yeah, I mean, as
you're
you know,
open year round. You're open year round as well down there. So it's like you could go any time of the year to Florida. So
as you know, I used to live in San Diego, and I lived in the Bay Area in California, and I've been to all the parks in the state multiple times, and been pass holders to all of them at one point or other. But to me, there is no comparison between Orlando and Southern California. Orlando is far superior. Yes, there are more coasters in Southern California, thanks to Magic Mountain, for example. But here's the thing. Disney World is in many ways better than Disneyland. There's more space, so many more restaurants. It's more of a pleasurable experience. It doesn't get super crowded like Disneyland does. The nighttime shows, except for World of Color, are amazing, and all that. I mean, Disneyland is great, but when you look at places like SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Universal, you know, if you look at those experiences, Universal Orlando is light years better than Universal Hollywood. That Universal Hollywood is a joke compared to Universal Orlando. And it's because of, as Walt said, the blessing of size. There's just so much more room that Universal bought with the initial plot that where the first two parks and Volcano Bay as well sit. And now, of course, Epic Universe. I mean, when Epic Universe opens, oh my God, Orlando's going to be rocking. But then, you know, SeaWorld's an amazing park. SeaWorld is the best. SeaWorld Orlando is the best SeaWorld park. I've been to all three. They're all great in one way or another. But SeaWorld Orlando is the best, without a doubt. Best collection of coasters. Busch Gardens Tampa is an amazing park. It's you know, up there with some of the better Six Flags and Cedar Fair parks as far as its collection of coasters, especially with Gwazi opening this year or next year, whenever it may be. But then, you know, Universal, great collection of coasters, great dark rides. Some of the best rides in the world are here in Orlando. You know, Hagrid's one of the best coasters in the world, best theme coasters. Mako is my favorite to be in. Hyper. Velocicoaster opening next year. Hulk is a great ride, of course. Disney Everest is one of the best coasters. Tron opening either next year or the year after is my favorite Disney coaster on the planet. You know, it's just like the one in Shanghai that I rode last year. So if Florida is just, it doesn't have as many coasters as Southern California, but overall, I think the quality here is better. At least that's my opinion, and having lived both places. But
all right, so we got some more comments. Let's see. Give me a sec. Let's see. Well, I appreciate all you guys that asking me to move to the East Coast. Andrew is always known during my conversations that I've been talking about wanting to move, you know, move out of California. But what keeps me in California is my family and my job. I have one of the greatest jobs in the world. And the only way I can see me leaving California is that my company has a facility in Texas. And if the manager there retires, then I have an opportunity to take that facility and move to Texas. But unless we decide to buy a facility in another state, and believe me, I've been looking to buy one in North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, even Texas as well. So we'll see what the future brings. But right now, what keeps me here in California is my job. And I definitely would love to have Carowinds be my backyard, because I would ride Fury 325 every day if I could.
Great coaster. One of my top 10.
Thank you, Thrill Seeks, for saying we're a great channel. Thank you. I wish a lot of people out there would say the same, you know. But we don't get the attention like a lot of other YouTube channels do. But really, my channel is just an archive. If you look at all my videos and all the seasons, I do a story on every single roller coaster. So, you know, I don't do gossip news and stuff like that. That's what we do, these Zoom chats, so we could talk about coaster news and stuff. But really, my channel is just like an archive for anybody who wants to know what it's like to ride a certain roller coaster. I try to make it where I have that coaster, right? If it's a kiddie coaster, all the way to the big, massive coasters like Steel Vengeance or Fury 325, you would be able to find those videos on my channel, you know. So, and Andrew does a great job helping me cover new attractions and stuff that open that I can't get to. So he basically represents me in the East, and I'm in the West. So
yeah, I was there opening weekend for Hagrid's, opening day for Rise of the Resistance here in Florida. And again, like I said, I plan to cover Gwazi, whether it be at a media day event prior to opening or right when it opens. I'm not going to the park this Thursday or Friday, or this weekend for that matter, even though they're opening this week. I don't believe that Gwazi is opening this week based on what I've heard. But you know, if Thursday it comes and it's open, I'll try to get a reservation as soon as possible and get that POV and get the coverage and get my review of the ride. So same thing with Icebreaker at SeaWorld.
Yeah. Wildcat coasters, how do you film the POVs? And
trade secret.
Well, it's kind of a little secret with us, but you know, I have a camera built into me.
I'm gonna grab my.
I'll let you, Andrew.
Yeah,
share.
it's time for more show and tell. Let me grab something here. Hang on. Let's see.
I think I'll let Andrew share that one.
Yeah, this is what I learned from you, David.
It's perfectly
It's legal.
perfectly legal to have. You know, it's not illegal.
Yeah, but definitely better than a GoPro.
Yeah, it's better than a GoPro.
yeah.
I'll tell you that.
So not the most stylish. This it would be a great part of a costume to be a V soldier at Halloween. Those of you who remember the V show from the 80s on NBC, but you can see the camera is the little circle right there. These are sunglasses. They are appearing weird because of the virtual background, but they are sunglasses. And I've got a strap on them that I just put on my head to keep them on my head. And I've been on many inverting looping coasters, crazy coasters, like on my China trip last year, riding that tilt coaster, and these glasses never come off.
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna go grab mine, but keep talking really quick.
Yeah, the only downside to these glasses is, they're these kind of, ones from Amazon and stuff. I think they're made in China, of course, like everything these days. The only thing that's not great about them is the low light performance. So when I rode Tron last year in Shanghai, David was not able to do much editing that video when I provided him the raw video because it was just too dark inside the show building. Obviously, you're not going to have a light. Yeah, obviously, you're not going to have a light on. There's no flash or anything. It's just a matter of how sensitive the sensor is. I've talked to David about eventually getting new ones as time goes by, as the technology gets better and better low light. But
so Andrew showed you the sports type of glasses. Mine are regular sunglasses, and it has a built-in hidden camera inside, and then you're able to turn it on from the side of your glasses.
Yeah, the same as mine. Yeah.
The glasses I'm holding, they cost about $400. Well worth the investment. It can hold a memory card. Inside, I have like 128 gigabyte memory card in here. The battery power only lasts 2 hours, but if you go through a park and you're going on and off, believe it or not, 2 hours is enough for you to get on each ride. Also, it's great. I've worn these walking around the park, just videotaping myself walking around the park so I could do like review videos down the road. And but I just saw online, Andrew, that they came out with the 4K glasses.
So
interesting. I'm looking into those as well.
For that same brand or a different brand or?
Same brand, and I heard they came out with another brand came out with a 4K camera. So
you could send me links.
Yeah.
You could send me links for that, because I think I'm coming up on time where I feel like I should upgrade those and get a new pair. And I'd want to look at the challenge is these products are so niche that it's hard to get reviews and things like that. But I really would like to see, hey, how well do they work, in darkness? That would be my big thing. So.
Yeah. And it's like, so as long as you have the glasses and you have your strap on, and then you just try to be as still, because you got to remember, if you're wearing glasses on your head that are recording, you want to keep your head somewhat in a nice steady position. Don't want to be aiming down too much. You got to remember you got a lens right here. So you kind of want to just keep your head nice and comfortable and try. It's, I've had some, I think it keeps a good balance, but on the steel coasters, wood coasters, because the coasters are so rough. So a lot of my videos, you'll see like the real bouncy part. That's not me. That's the coaster. That's how rough. You can actually feel the experience on watching the video, how rough it's just by watching the video movement. And it's just, it just makes my videos feel more realistic when you feel the movement and stuff like that. So I mean, I do that, and then my videos, I do both. I do on ride, and then I take a lot of outside shots, and I try to put them all together to make my videos. And I try to put music. My music is all purchase. I mean, everything I buy, everything in my videos are all purchase and license and to be used, so I don't get dinged with copyright infringements and stuff like that. For people to realize to operate a channel and to make videos. And it costs money to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I spend just on licenses, like every song I put into my episodes, and every theme park, I have a different theme. I have a different song for every theme park. So that's why you notice the music changes per park. But I spend anywhere from $20 to $100 for a song, and for its license, and then the graphics and some stuff. I purchase like the headline, the lower third bar, info bar, and my intro and stuff. That's all license and special graphics that I help you plug in, you tweak around, but you have a license for that. I don't use other people's video coverage unless I get permission. So it's a lot of work, but I would say on a monthly basis, between my software that I pay monthly on, I spend about $200 a month just on software to create these videos. And we're a total nonprofit. You may see commercials in my YouTube videos, but believe it or not, guys, YouTube pays like pennies for an ad. It shows I'm making like 30 cents per video, and I haven't seen that money. That money has never come to me from YouTube. I guess I'm not making enough money for them to send me a check. So, so really we're a total nonprofit here, and I'm happy to be a nonprofit because there's people out there that make YouTube videos just to make money and get rich. Me, I'm about making videos because I love making videos and I want to make a difference in people's lives. So, I wish that people out there would give us more attention because of that, So.
And this is also why we are very friendly with other channels, because we're not competing with other channels. We're not in it for ourselves. We're just here to promote these fun rides and show people what they're like and talk about them and share them. So
yeah. Thrill Seeks. I'm poor. My wife got a GoPro for my last birthday and Christmas. Hey, GoPro.
GoPros are good.
I bought a brand new 4K GoPro, and that cost me $400. So camera equipment is very expensive, but you know what? Once you put out the investment on that, you'd be amazed how much better your videos become. Because I remember when I started this channel, if you were to go back to season 1 or season 2 of Coaster Challenge, my videos were pretty rough. My green screens were glitching, and some of my video coverage was pretty fadey. And then when you look at my videos today, they're a lot more crisp, more cleaner, brighter. You can see me more clear, and that's just me over the years investing in equipment and stuff. And it does make a difference. So I would just say, just save or sell your old equipment and try to upgrade it with the new ones as much as possible. There's other YouTubers out there that are just starting, that are looking for equipment. So if you were to sell them your equipment and then take that money and upgrade yourself to better equipment, that's another way to do it too.
Yeah. And David, I have my Mavic Air drone, DJI, and you and I have, this is kind of, it's no big deal to talk about this because publicly, so to speak, but one of these days I need to get it going and go down to the parks and fly it. I've been inspired by Austin because he does that to get video content for his channel, where he parks in a parking lot and flies legally, not in the airspace of the parks, but gets a good view of the parks from up to a few hundred feet up, and gets a good survey video of construction and things like that. So it's kind of fun to do that. So I need to maybe start doing that and giving you.
Somebody did that at Magic Mountain during the pandemic. Someone did a drone and but they went on park property. I guess people were able to get on the parking lot. Like they flew the drone over Superman, over the top of the tower. And I was like, I'm surprised that they didn't get busted for that, because it's like, I know that there's people flying drones everywhere. I don't see them in the sky. I think at night, sometimes I'll see one with a red light beeping going up down, but I have not really seen a camera drone in my area, but I see a lot of people try to do it at Disneyland and at the parks and all that stuff. So it's, you know, to me, I'd rather go like over to a hillside that's far away from the park and then raise a drone up and then be able to zoom the camera.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. So. Hey, David, I need to drop out because I'm well, my dogs are getting antsy for treats, but also I've got friends coming over for dinner here in a little while. So.
Yeah, well, I got to drop out as well. So it was a great chat. I think we're gonna do more. We're gonna do more chats like this throughout the year. So, and we're gonna invite some people to come join us as well. I know we did one with several enthusiasts from Florida and around the country. So. But I want to thank Thrill Seeks, Wildcat Coasters. Hi, Sean Sanders. Thank you. Yes, Cedar Point is definitely opening. I want to thank Nicholas, all the people that have been making comments on the stream. This was probably the most active comment streaming we've had in a while. So, but we plan to do this more often. And please make sure to subscribe to our channel and share our videos when they come out. I release them every Monday. And you know, and feel free to reach out, join our Facebook group page. Andrew and I are on there. You're always welcome to answer us questions. We always like to answer them back. And, you know, so thank you guys, but we're going to cut it off here. But we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you.
All right,
thanks,
Andrew.
David.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good night. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.